Alright, yo guys, what is going on? It is Techno here, your coach of the Carolina Pantherians, and today we're going to be doing our week 1 of the Hive Season 3. Now, I did just recently upload my draft analysis, and I did upload a collaborative draft analysis of all the teams in Beedrill up on my good pal Greg's channel, so you guys should definitely go check that out. But today we're here with week 1, and we were up against the Carolina Talonflames and my good pal Lejon Flames, the only real person in the Hive. Honestly, no, but seriously, he's a very cool dude, and I'm very excited to be playing him this week. We've never played before in the format, so definitely pretty hyped for me. I've always wanted to play him, and yeah, this is my opportunity, so that's pretty cool. Now, the reason that you're not actually seeing the team here is because when I made a team on my other computer. For those of you who don't know my situation, um, I have to record vids on basically two computers. One computer I use for all my stuff, but it doesn't record, so I have to use an old computer to record my videos. That's always really nice. But yeah, so I'm actually just gonna be building this like right here, and then explaining my thought process as I go. So hey, what are you gonna do? But anyways, here's a look at Lejon's team, so you guys can see he has Mega Diancie, Garchomp, Skarmory, Cresselia, Alomomola, Raikou, Darmanitan, Bisharp, Toxicroak, Komala, and Lantern. With Garchomp, Raikou, and I believe Toxicroak is a Zmons. And you guys should know my team if you guys saw my draft analysis. If not, go check that out. So right off the bat, there are a couple of things I noticed. His team's definitely very, very fat. So one of my stall breakers, mainly Zygarde, should definitely be able to put in a big dent on his team. Two mons that probably should not come this matchup are either of my flying types. He has Raikou, Skarm, Garchomp, even like Nasty Plot Bat, just doesn't really do much to his team just because of Cresselia. Cresselia is way too big of a threat to that set, so not worth my bring. And also Pinsir is just really, really just not very good this matchup at all, so that's definitely a no-bring. But the one mon I know I'm going to want to bring this matchup is definitely going to end up being my Zygarde, which is going to be nicknamed Greater Dog. Greater Dog. So the set I ended up going with this thing was going to be Leftovers with, you guys will see, I have Dragon Dance, Substitute, Toxic, and we have, of course, Thousand Arrows. And then our EV spread, so the way I wanted to do this EV spread was, I believe that what I just did was I made it so that I had enough speed to outspeed the Raikou. I had enough, I just had like max HP, and then I believe the rest of it was so that my Thousand Arrows would be able to 2-hit KO Skarm or Garchomp or something at +1. I'm pretty sure that's how I did it. And then I put the rest in defense. So we're going to see my speed stat's going to be 148. This means that at +1, I will be able to outspeed Raikou, and this speed stat allows me to always outspeed a Bisharp and then get a sub on it so that it can't sucker punch me. And then you guys are going to see, so my HP stat, I have 248, really nice, makes it really bulky, lets it take a lot of different hits from his team. I have 36 in defense, yep, and then 76 in attack with an adamant nature. So, as I stated, this Garchomp set, or any Garchomp, an offensive Garchomp, which I'm definitely expecting from the mocks I had versus his team, is definitely the most likely set to come. Just because it just puts in such a dent on my team. Like, my only real response to it would be Rotom, and that thing can just Dragonium Z through it. And I'm not in the mood to bring a Aromatisse this match. It does have promise, however, it requires a lot of really like EV spreads that I can't predict. That's my big problem with it. I don't want to have to be put in that situation like ever. Just in league format in general, that's just how I've always been. I'd rather keep it safe with my prep, and I feel like that's something that definitely helps me out a lot. So as stated, yeah, there's like Garchomp is just such a big threat, so I really think offensive will come, and so that's why I'm bringing this set. This set just really just punishes his team. If you look at his team, you guys can see like Mons like Alomomola and Cress, which could possibly beat me, are just gonna get toxic, and then everything else I just Thousand Arrows. Cress is honestly his only real response at +1, being able to Ice Beam me. And yeah, so there's a couple of ways I'm going to try to prevent that Ice Beam from being too big of a threat. So one of them is, of course, my Subtoxic set. Just being able to Toxic it, wear it down. If he is Rest Talk, I do definitely have a plan for that, which I'll get into in a moment. But yeah, so just looking at the rest of his team, this thing just matches up very well. Like, make sure that Darmanitan basically can't come. doesn't allow like a Specs Raikou or anything to just run all over my team. Um, really nice mon this game, so I'm very happy that it is able to come. Now, the next mon I did decide to bring is going to be a mon that I wanted for speed control. I think that versus his team, speed control is definitely going to be very necessary to make sure that I can outspeed the Raikou, I can outspeed the Diancie, Garchomp, just all these mons, as well as the fact that I do want something that will be able to kind of take a hit from the Bisharp, as well as lure in the Cresselia. So what I decided to take or bring is going to be my Mienshao. So I'm actually going to be bringing a Choice Scarf set with, you guys are going to see, I have High Jump Kick. My ability is Regenerator. The reason I ran Regenerator is so that if he is SD Bisharp, I'm not that afraid of it. I can always just try to switch out and then just do whatever I want versus that. If he gets if he gets off a big hit versus me, I'm totally fine with that. Just Regenerator is still really nice versus his team. A lot of different mons it helps me deal with. Make sure that if he's a spike stacking set, I'm not going to be too weakened by that, which is ironic, but we'll get into that in a sec. So I have a High Jump Kick, and then looking at his team, you guys can see I don't really need much other coverage for the rest of his mons. So all I'm going to be running is going to be some utility, so I'm going to have U-Turn. Like I said, I want this thing to kind of lure in the Cresselia to an extent, so I'm going to be running the nice Toxic, so that if he is just trying not to get Toxic by my Zygarde, he'll just end up getting baited by this Mienshao. And then for my last move, the only mon that really can wall me, besides the Cresselia, Alomomola, which I already have my best options for, is still going to be the Toxic Croak. I don't need any other moves. Even HPAs for Garchomp wouldn't do too much, so instead I'm going to run Hidden Power Psychic. I ran a Calc. This will do more than Aerial Ace or Acrobatics, even with my max attack, which you guys can see I am running. So I've got 252 in attack, 232 in speed, with a naive nature, and then we have 24 in special attack. Now the reason I have this set is so that mons like the Garchomp can't outspeed me, like even with the Scarf set or a Salic Berry boost. And then High Jump Kick just honestly just runs through his team. If I was Reckless, it would be a lot easier. However, the point of this set isn't necessarily to immediately go for Reckless kills. It's also just to get off like lure damage, make sure that rocks aren't that big of a threat anyways, make sure that I have a response to Bisharp no matter what, because this thing will always take a hit from a +2 Bisharp. I'm not going to be running calcs this video because I've obviously already done them and shit. But yeah, that's going to be that for now. So now what I'm looking at is the fact that mons, like even with this, I still feel like there's some mons that will be able to just like rip me up. Those mons are basically like Scarm, still his defensive core, as well as just like his Garchomp. So I want something to be able to resist that, and also to make sure that I don't always have hazards on the field. So we're going to be bringing our Rotom Wash. Now this thing got some very interesting moves on it, and when I say very interesting moves, I mean I have one very interesting move, and I'll get into why I have that in a sec. So leftovers right here, and so we have Hydro Pump, Volt Switch, Defog, and I'm actually going to do my EVs first. So we have 220 in speed. This allows me to always outspeed the Bisharp in case he's thinking he can just knock me off since I am more defensive. 232 in HP. We have 40 in my defense stat, and then we have 16 in special attack. Now, the last move I'm thinking for this mon is, so basically, looking at his team, he just has a lot of like different ways that I can just like toxic it, considering that it is basically a stall without a heal bell. And like what I'm about to like show you guys is, it might seem a little bit stupid, however I do definitely have very good reasoning for this, and that move is going to be Hex. Now Hex is definitely very interesting versus this team, but it only really has one usage, and that is basically making sure that a Rest Talk Cresselia can't just win the game. I am always going to be able to 3 KO this Cresselia with Hex, with my special attack investment, and what this means is, if like only if he's asleep, by the way. If he's awake, then it's all good. If he's just no Rest Talk, then Hex is useless. However, it still is worth the, it's still worth it. And if he is a calm mindset, which he could be, that probably means he won't have a move to immediately pressure the Zygarde, so I can just set up all over that, and it'll be a good time. So yeah, that's why I have Hex on this thing. I think it is a very nice move to have. The only other move I was considering was going to be Will-O-Wisp for the Bisharp. However, in a lot of mocks, I really did not see Bisharp coming, and I was unsure whether to think that it would actually end up coming or not. So we'll see how that goes in the battle. So after this, the mon I was thinking of next was just something that could help me with wearing down this crest. Because like I said, Zygarde is the big win con here. So next up, I'm going to be picking Alakazam to come to this game. The return of Serratus, and a couple of different reasons I'm going to be bringing this set. So when you think about it, Zygarde or Alakazam just puts on so much pressure on his team. The only one that really wants to take hits from it, I guess, are Skarm and um, Cresselia, and that's why I'm going to be running the set that I am, to kind of help me with this, to kind of help with the lure sets, make sure that my Zygarde can help out more. So I have Encore on this thing. This helps me deal with the Cresselia a lot more. I definitely feel like with my Volt Turn, there are definitely a lot of plays that I can make to make sure that the Cresselia is always locked into a move that will not benefit it, that won't be attacking me either, or Thunder Waving or anything, because that's definitely the set I think will come. Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Moonlight, and then something else. I've seen a lot of different fill-in moves and mocks. So I have Psyshock, just because nice stab. Hidden Power Ice, mainly just because if the Garchomp gets out of hand, I don't want to risk having Psyshock not do enough damage depending on where it's at. And Hidden Power Ice will always just do a lot of damage, just the way it is. And then my last move is going to be Shadow Ball. Now, it's definitely probably interesting that I didn't run Focus Blast, considering he does have the Bisharp and I am a Sash Zam. However, what I was feeling was that he just wouldn't bring it, and I wasn't sure why. It's because I asked a lot of people why I didn't think why he probably wouldn't bring it. I don't know why this 40 in defense. Basically, like no matter where you put your EVs for the Zam, it just doesn't matter. The 40 in defense is just useless. I was just chilling with that. I don't know why. I probably should just put in HP or Spadef or something, but you know, whatever. That's besides the point. That's actually gonna bother me. I'm just gonna put it there for now. Spoilers: the defense stat of the Sam doesn't matter in the battle. But yeah, I really didn't think Bisharp would end up coming. I thought that it would likely just be just pretty likely be, I don't know, something else. Maybe like a team I really expected him to bring was gonna be Diancie, Raikou, Garchomp, and Skarmory. And then whatever else he brought was just kind of up to it. I think Crest had to come too, just because of Mons like my Zygarde and my Manshao. And then the last Mon, I saw Toxicroaks, I saw Alomomolas, um, I think I saw the Ramanitans too. Yeah, I did. But I saw no Bisharps, which was very interesting. And it kind of like lured me into a false sense of security, and I just didn't bring anything for Bisharp. So I'm gonna hope that the rest of my Mons will be able to kind of deal with it a little bit more, and yeah, we'll just see how that goes for me. But yeah, this thing is very nice. Just kind of a nice revenge killer for his whole team. What Zam does best, not really much to explain here. So for another Mon on my team, I decided I want something that will be able to switch into Diancie and kind of lure it into a false sense of security. Like I said, I do think that this team will kind of rely on its lures quite a bit. Um, this isn't much of a lure. This is more of just like a Mon that I have to tank hits from the thing and also just apply pressure back. Like as well as the pressure as it might be, like it's not that great, but it is good enough. So that Mon I decided to run is actually going to be the most interesting Mon on my team this week, and it's going to be my boy Dusknoir. Now, Dusknoir definitely does not come to a lot of battles, and for dare I say good reason, just because you know it's pretty weird. It's a pretty weird Mon. Defensively, however, I think an Assault Vest set with the set I'm going to be running could definitely put in a lot of pressure on his team. Um, there we go. So I don't have Body Slam. We have Ice Punch and we have Shadow Sneak. So the set I decided to bring is going to be 248. Now just keep in mind these EVs with the Assault Vest are like specified to make sure that Diancie, no matter what, cannot 2-hit KO me if there are no rocks in the field. And even if there are rocks in the field, it's likely not going to be able to 2-hit KO me because it would need a max attack set. And I don't know if that would ever come versus me, just because Mons like Zygarde definitely pressure it more if I'm bulkier. And yeah, so that's going to be our Dusknoir, just looking at it. Takes a lot of hits from a lot of different Mons. It's a really nice response to potential Calm Mind Electrium Z Raikou. Just takes those hits for days. Really nice. Takes like 75% from +1 Thunderbolt, which I really like. This Dusknoir just has a lot of value versus him. And yeah, you guys can see like with the rest of my team, I have Shadow Punch. The reason I have Shadow Punch is just so that if he does have like Subcrest, which is a possible set, I don't know how likely it will be, but it is possible. I don't Dark type. If he has Subcrest, then I will just be able to Shadow Punch that thing and just get it out of there, or get the sub out of there. That's the only hope. I don't like Dusknoir does pitiful damage to Cresselia, so it's definitely not my response to it. However, it could definitely be pretty nice in some situations. So that's kind of why I like it. And as for our last mon, so last mon I figured I needed was just a rocker. So obviously, Fortress, this matchup, it's a little bit weird. Mon's like, just so many Mons pressure. It doesn't help me much versus my Crest scenario. Doesn't help me versus a lot of different Mons on his team. So I decided instead my last Mon would be my Heatran. Now this Heatran, it's just kind of another lure. I have a lot of lure sets on this team, but it is kind of necessary because if I just lure like one thing right, then my Zygarde will just win the game. That's the hope for this team, this battle, this everything. So this is going to be Lava Hound, and our set is going to be, I don't know why I had pressure on this thing, kind of probably to stall out Moonlights. Yeah, that's why I had it. Magma Storm, Solar Beam, you guys see Grass MZ, so Solar Beam is definitely implied. We have, I ran Toxic in the battle. There was a big toss-up between Toxic, Taunt, and Sub, but I ultimately decided that Toxic would be nice, just because any mon I can get a Toxic off on Cresselia with is going to be, it's a good mon. I only have 3 mons I can do it with, and Zygarde isn't that good at doing it. It won't be that good, neither is Mienshao. So I want something a little bit more reliable. If he plays foolishly, then Magma Storm Toxic will just be able to trap it, wear it down to an immensely low amount of HP, and that'll just be really nice for me. And then I have Bloom Doom. It just helps a lot versus this team. Helps versus Alomomola. Helps versus a possible setup Garchomp. And then just a lot of helps versus the Lantern too. So that's going to be the team for this week. And yeah, I will see you guys right at the battle. Alright, so here we are at the battle. And as you guys can see, we've got my squad just chilling right here. Then you can see his squad. He's got the Raikou, the Garchomp, the Skarmory, the Diancie, the Cresselia, and the fucking Bisharp. So, really annoyed I didn't run Focus Blast on my Alakazam this week, and I just kind of looked over Bisharp. Didn't run Sub either on my this thing. Didn't run Willow on this, but I think it will be manageable just looking at the matchup. And right off the bat, what I think I've done I've done this in like most of my mock battles and everything, but I think that Mienshao is just a very good lead versus him. Just kind of like pressures his team very nicely. If he leads off with Raikou, he likely won't be able to kill me unless he's scarfed with like Thunderbolt, and he goes for Thunderbolt turn 1. And if that's the case, I definitely just get an opportunity to probably get up Rocks. I don't want to set up too early, but Rocks are definitely pretty nice versus him. Scarf is definitely kind of like weak, well, kind of weird versus my team. But anyways, that being said, I'm just going to lead off with Mienshao as he leads off with the Cresselia. Now, turn 1, this is pretty obvious U-turn. I'm just going to U-turn, and I don't see Rocky Helmet, so that's pretty good for me. Means I'll just be able to go into my Heatran, and Thunder Wave is going to come out here. I'm like, hey, okay, that's fine. I just get some free rocks. We're in an alright spot. If he goes Garchomp, I have a couple of different plays, but he actually goes for Magicoat, which was interesting. I think I was told after the match that it would be for a Taunt Alakazam, which I think is definitely pretty good prep. So on this turn, as he goes hard into Garchomp on my thing, I actually predicted him to go for an SD as opposed to an Earthquake, and I go right for my Bloom Doom, just get off some damage, make sure that my Zam doesn't have to break its stash. But unfortunately, I am just going to get paralyzed, so you know, what can you do about that? And I just go into my Rotom. I know this thing's going to die, but I want to keep my Heatran around. I think it does have some nice potential versus Mons like the versus like the Skarmory and stuff. Kind of helps me weaken that thing a little bit just so Zygarde has an easier time. Now the Devastating Drake here is still kind of helpful for me. Now I know that it's not an Electro MZ Raikou, so that's always really good. I get off the 100 Power Ice. It doesn't kill, but it does a lot. I didn't think it would kill, just because Garchomp's pretty bulky. And he gets the Earthquake, gets a crit, so that obviously mattered. But whatever, what can you do, man? So I just Shadow Ball here. Predicting Crest to come in, and this is probably a weird play, but I just kind of wanted him to get some, like, to be forced into recovery right here, just in case I somehow get an Encore off, but it will be pretty weird. So instead, I'm just going to go right into my Lava Hound. I wanted to Toxic this thing before getting an Encore off. I thought that was more useful for me. And now the thing's going to come in, the Diancie. I actually, on that turn, what I was thinking was, here, I'll just go back a couple turns. So, what I was thinking is, now that he's gotten the Magic Coat shenanigans off on me, chances are that he's not going to want to stay and take a Toxic, take a Magma Storm, get all that good shit. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict him to either go Garchomp or sack Diancie, or either sack Diancie and go Garchomp. Go blah 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 blah. Either go Diancie or sack Garchomp. There we go. To this, and basically what I decided is, if he goes Garchomp on the Bloom Doom, then I'm like, great, that's easier. Means that I don't have to risk anything else anymore. It means this is more accurate than Magma Storm. means that I don't have much more pressure with this Heatran to try to get off a Bloom Doom. So I'm like, okay, that's totally fine with me, in a lot of different ways. So now I'm just going to go for Bloom Doom, predicting the Diancie to come in, and as we will see, I am just going to get full Paralyze, as you guys saw earlier. So, that's so unfortunate, because this would have been a dead Diancie, another big threat to the team, just gone. So I just go into my Dusknoir, because this is my dedicated switch in, and you guys can see it just takes the hit so well. Um, as he just stays in and Moonblast. This thing, I don't think it gets steel coverage. If it does, it wasn't worth this matchup for a couple of different reasons, but it just wasn't that worth it. And you guys can see on this turn, I actually just end up going for the Shadow Sneak. While I wish I really just went for Earthquake, I was so considering it. I really had this feeling that he'd go Bisharp, but not really much I can do there. Um, so now I just kind of am forced to pick a sack, and I just decided it's going to be my Lava Hound. The Dusknoir is still kind of useful versus him in a couple of different ways, and that thing also didn't let him set up. So you guys can see I'm definitely in the back here. I definitely am down Mons. I'm got a 1 health Zam, which is still nice, but it's whatever. I've got a very low Dusknoir, and I've just got my Mienshao and my Zygarde basically at full health, and Mienshao is now coming out on rocks and shit. So here, I decide, okay, he doesn't really need Bisharp, so I'm just going to high jump kick. I think it's totally fine play. As he actually just goes right into Crest, so I probably could have just U-turned there, but what can you do? Already done and over with. So now, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to go right into my Dusknoir, because I know I can probably take 2 hits from this thing, as it just goes for Thunder Wave, and that's totally fine with me. It just means I can get off a Shadow Punch and try to do a little bit of damage to this thing. Not too much, obviously, just because of the way that it is. But yeah, we're actually just going to be able to take out the Garchomp. So my Dusknoir does get a kill, so that's really cool. Just because Dusknoir just kind of sucks. So nice to see it get some, I guess, shining moments. So now he goes into this thing as I'm just going to sack off my Dusknoir. It's done its job, weakened the Diancie enough, and now I can just go into my Zygarde. Now this is my plan here. My plan is to now lure in the Cresselia and try to get off a Toxic on it. I think that is definitely what's going to happen. So here, I am just going to go for Sub just to be careful in case he wants to Sucker and just some random shit happens. I also didn't want him knocking me off for any reason. So I'm just going to Toxic here, and if I miss, I basically just lose because then I just don't have any other plays to make versus him. So he actually does not avoid the Toxic, and I just get off. I get it off, and now I see that his set is Moonlight, Ice Beam, Thunder Wave, and other thing, and Magico, yeah. So I decided I'm just going to go hard into the Coon. He gets a crit on me, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it should be fine. It's just to make me a little bit weaker to Bisharp. Um, but now I can just U-turn right out into my Alakazam. I could have gone Zygarde, however, I really didn't want to risk another Ice Beam. I think that was way too big of a risk for me, as it just Thunder Waves, and this is unfortunate. So I just Encore here, and we're going to see if he does kill me or not, if he outspeeds me. And you guys are going to see, yes, he does indeed outspeed me, and he just kills me. However, what this means is that I will just be able to go into the Mienshao. So, looking at his team here now, I have to HJK. If I go for a U-turn, it means that Diancie comes back in, and he wins. I don't have extreme speed on my Zygarde, so that's a GG right there. So, basically what I have to do is I have to go for HJK, kill this thing, and then what I have to do is I have to hope that maybe, just maybe, my freaking Zygarde can somehow win this game. I also have to hope that he goes into Skarmory instead of Raikou, maybe fearing like some other type of HJK set. This could probably be Assault Vest just from the damage he's seeing, but he doesn't know. I guess there were a couple different options I didn't want to risk. He also probably could think that the HJK is a roll versus him, which is totally fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to HJK, and we're going to see if we can lure in the Skarmory. And lo and behold, we do actually lure it in. And what this means is Skull Cup. What this means is now my play is to just try to continue to HJK this thing. If I get a miss off, it's pretty good. This is my setup fodder for my Zygarde. And I'm looking at his plays, and he's just going for spikes. So I'm starting to think that the only reason to go for spikes is if he knew that his HPI is from his Raikou, would just want to kill me from there, which is totally cool. So basically what my plan is, I'm going to try to HJK, and then if it gets too out of hand, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go right into my Zygarde and just try to try to pivot around maybe, or just Thousand Arrows. Either of those could work. Like the Bloom Doom miss on the thing definitely sucked a lot earlier, just because I really needed Diancie just completely gone and out of the way. But here it is, still standing. So now I'm just gonna HJK. Like I said, that Bloom Doom miss is freaking really bad for me right now. And I actually just missed an HJK, so I'm like, okay, so that's actually pretty good for me because it means that this just means my Zygarde will come in for free, and my Manchow, being the god that it is, actually just misses 2 HJKs and just kills itself, which is amazing. Because what that means is I do end up getting the justice I need for the Diancies. But we're just gonna have to see if this is gonna be able to do it for me. So I have to sub here. The reason I subbed here is because if he is a random, I guess, Scarf, HP Ice, Raikou, then I guess I have to sub here, bluff E-Speed, hope he goes Skarm or something. I don't know. Not really much I can do after that. Um, um, it was just not worth for me to Dragon Dance on that turn. Just because a couple of reasons. One, he could have like toxic to me with the Skarmory. Two, Brave Bird doesn't break the sub. I ran the calc on how much damage he did. He's definitely not offensive, so that's totally cool with me. And I see his leftovers. I'm like, oh shit, this is definitely a chance for me to just win this game. So just goes for HP Ice, and you guys are gonna see I'm just gonna go for Dragon Dance. And now I outspeed his whole team. I'm very fat, so I take Sucker Punches from the Bisharp for days, and I just OHKO everything except for the Skarmory, so it depends on how much damage this Bisharp and the Skarmory can end up doing to me. Um, so now what's going to happen is he's going to go Bisharp, and he does end up going for the Sucker Punch. I ran a calc, even like a Dread Plate set wouldn't be able to do that overly much to me. And now I just get off 1,000 arrows, and what this means is I have to hope that he doesn't like counter me. That was definitely a big fear I was having for this play right here, that he would just end up countering me, so I have to go for sub, and I really don't want to get countered. As you see, he goes for Brave Bird. It does a little bit of damage to me, and it's not that much, not enough at all. So now what I'm thinking is I can just 1,000 arrows. I'll smack this thing down. Next turn it will be able to, it will definitely take super effective damage from this thing, and then I can just switch around. Or I can't switch, but I can. Like after this leftovers recovery, I'm out of range of the next Skarmory attack. This Zygarde will definitely just kill off the Skarmory, and I just go for 1,000 arrows, and bam, that thing's dead. So we couldn't have switched out or anything. And now in comes Diancie, and Zygarde is going to do it for me. Oh my god, so hype! Week 1, my first pick, Zygarde is just putting in all that work, fucking Lejon up. But yeah, it was definitely a good game. The HJK misses were the only really unfortunate thing on his side, but I feel like it definitely got made up for way earlier in the game with the freaking with the what's it called with the Bloom Doom misses. Either of those, both of those Bloom Doom misses were horrible for me, but luckily this did just kind of overcome in the end this Zygarde set that we have right here. So super hyped to start the season off on a win. Good luck to Lejon and the rest of the season. And next week we are up against Owen. Whether I upload all these battles, I always say it's just like a toss-up in the air. However, hopefully I will. And yeah, I'll just see you guys all next time. Adios.